Park, a new beginning, let's go. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we've been knocking them down. Baby said she wanna go to the game. Taught her how to say Padre gang. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we've been knocking them down. Mitchell and Ness with the old school name. All of the homies holler Padre gang. Yeah, that.
And good day, everybody. Welcome to the Talking Friars Padres Brewers pregame show for June 2nd, 2022. I'm your host, Ben Fadden. Just got finished. Well, I don't think the game's over yet, but was watching the Oklahoma massacre. Oklahoma just smashing Northwestern right now in the Women's College World Series in the first round. Not a surprise. And hopefully the Padres offense can replicate what Oklahoma softball's offense is doing right now. Padres obviously coming off of getting swept, their first series that they were swept so far this season. They were swept by the Cardinals, obviously, in St. Louis. Yeah, is that a good sign? You could say that. It's the first time they've been swept. That just shows how good they've been this year. Okay. But I'm also dealing with what we're experiencing right now, right? And what we're experiencing right now is an offensive shortage. Anthony, yes, I know. The Padres have made it official. Nomar Mazara is a San Diego Padre. Robinson Cano was optioned to AAA. He elected free agency, so the Robinson Cano Padres era is over. And then with Mazara, he's up with the big league team. I talked with Tim Haggerty, who is the AAA El Paso broadcaster, on episode 176 of the podcast and YouTube show. That's out right now on this very YouTube channel and on all those podcast platforms, wherever you get your podcasts. We talked about Camposano and Abrams and their plans there. We talked about what Nomar Mazara might be able to bring to the Padres. And Haggerty was telling me that this guy has power. Coaches rave about his professionalism and his preparation. He led the Pacific Coast League in average, I think, on base percentage as well. So I think he's going to have a better chance of staying with the Padres long term than Trace Thompson, right? Trace Thompson was brought up, as Tim Haggerty pointed out to me today, pointed out that, Trace Thompson was up because Will Meyer got hurt and was on the IL. So it was only going to be like this temporary thing. But with this move, with Mazara coming up, he's coming up in place of Robinson Cano, who was going to be on the roster for the foreseeable future until probably Fernando got back. So my guess is Nomar Mazara is going to get a really good chance to impact this Padres team and have some pretty important at-bats. Will Myers dealing with the knee issue, and so Nomar Mazara is in right field tonight in the lineup. Kevin Acee put that lineup out there. I tweeted that out before the Padres officially put it out there on Twitter. So yeah, Mazara is hitting sixth. Will Myers is not in the lineup. So we'll get to the lineup. We'll get to the bullpen situation, the starting pitching matchups. But I hope everyone's doing well. If you're new to this channel, I hope you subscribe to this YouTube channel, daily Padres content, interviews with former Padres, people in the know like Tim Haggerty. He said during the episode, I can't break any news, but it kind of felt like he knew what was going on as well. Mazara was not in the dugout last night, and he ends up coming on to the Padres Major League roster, was probably going to Milwaukee at that point. Brent Rooker, by the way, still is in AAA. He was in the lineup last night. So just daily Padres content, pregame shows, postgame reactions on the Twitter at Talking Friars, in-game highlights, a lot of highlights during games that I don't attend. Postgame reactions on there as well. You might see me in the replies to the Padres postgame final score tweet, right? Putting out the postgame recap there on this YouTube channel, on TikTok, on Instagram, at Talking Friars for all of those. So I appreciate all of your support. All right, let's get to the Padres-Brewers matchup tonight. Brewers host the Padres for 4 games. This is the first of 4. Brewers are 32-30 going in. Padres are 30-20. Even after being swept, they're still 10 games over 500. And there's only 6 teams in the National League that have winning records. All 6 of them are in playoff spots as we speak. 619-335-5770 is the voicemail number if you want your thoughts to be featured on an upcoming episode. If you subscribe to this YouTube channel and say that you've subscribed, I'll personally respond to you saying thank you. Today's game, 4:40 is the first pitch. Valley Sports San Diego, 97.3 The Fan. As always, Padres are in second place in the National League West, 3 games back of the Dodgers, who were swept by the Pittsburgh Pirates, by the way, in their last series. They host the Mets this weekend, I believe. So Padres still 3 games back of them. Brewers are in first place in the National League Central. I think they are 2.5 games up on the Cardinals, who the Padres just played. So the Padres come back after this Brewers trip or Brewers series. They come back, play the Mets at home, and then I think they play the who do they play? The Pirates? No, the Pirates games are already done. I think I forget. I'm blanking on who they play after the Mets. But it doesn't really matter right now. Padres are 2-6 in their last 8 games. Yeah, 2 plus 6 is 8. Let's do some basic math, Ben. What was I gonna say? I have no idea what I was just gonna say there. 2-6 in their last 8. That's bad. They obviously need to be better. The offense needs to be better. Alex says they play the Rockies after the Mets. Okay, that's right. I kind of remember that now. They have that doubleheader on Saturday. I think next Saturday. So that's the situation. The upcoming situation for the Padres. The pitching matchup for today: Adrian Hauser and Sean Manaea. Manaea has a 4.02 ERA. For me, at least, when I was putting down these notes before the pregame show today, it might feel like another start, I think. Kind of like how you, Darvish, had yesterday in terms of allowing runs, but going deep into the game. So it's just going to be a matter of if the Padres offense can get to Adrian Hauser and the Brewers bullpen. Can that? I think Josh Hader is back for the Brewers. Remember in San Diego, he had that family emergency that he had to deal with. So I think he's going to be back. It seems like their bullpen's going to be in better shape than it was last time. But remember, I think I'm right with this. The Padres lost that series. They almost got swept by the Brewers when they played last time at Petco Park a couple weeks back. Remember, Jake Cronenworth made that great play up the middle, and that saved Nick Martinez from allowing 2 more runs, and the Padres ended up walking off that game. Had Crony not made that play, Padres would not have won that game. And then with Manaea, he's gonna give up some runs probably, like he has a lot, but it's it's the durability, it's the going 6, 7 innings that I really love out of Manaea. He's allowed 3 runs in his last 6 starts, but has pitched at least 6 innings in 5 of those 6 starts. So he's going deep and saving some of the bullpen, right? Making it where most nights you're going to save an arm or you're going to save a couple arms. Darvish saved a couple arms probably yesterday, right? Chris Matt only had to pitch yesterday. He was the only guy that pitched, and he pitched 6 pitches. That's it. So the bullpen is pretty fresh, and we'll get to that situation in a little bit. Adrian Hauser on the mound for the Brewers, a 3.69 ERA. He gave up 5 runs in his last start, but he's allowed 3 or fewer runs in 7 of his 9 starts. Not going to be an easy outing or matchup for the Padres tonight, and it's not going to be easy pretty much the whole weekend. Who do they just seeing real quick if they have the pitching matchup already for tomorrow? I think they're going to have to face Corbin Burns. Yeah, Corbin Burns pitches tomorrow. Whew, what a matchup tomorrow night. Joe Musgrove and Corbin Burns. That is a must-watch matchup. Holy cow. Must-watch right there. So Adrian Hauser on the mound for the Milwaukee Brewers today. 36 strikeouts so far for him on the year. Not going to be easy. And we can move to the bullpen situation. I will get to all your comments, your questions on anything at the end, like I always do. But just getting to this bullpen situation here. Not really a whole lot to talk about. Chris Matt, 6 pitches yesterday because Darvish went 7 2/3, and Padres pitching didn't need to pitch that 9th inning because they lost. They were losing. They didn't have to pitch the bottom of the ninth. So bullpen's ready. Chris Mack could go back-to-back days if you want him to, but Rogers would be available in a save situation. So that's a positive going into today. I know they got swept, but you got everyone in the bullpen probably available. And then for the lineups, Nomar Mazara is obviously the headliner for the Padres going into tonight. But Jurickson Profar is leading off. He's in left field. Crony is hitting second. Manny's been hitting second most of the time. So Cronenworth is now up to the 2-hole at second base. Manny hitting third, playing third base. Hosmer is batting fourth. Voit is the DH, batting fifth. Nomar Mazara in there in right field. Trent Grisham is hitting seventh in center. Jorge Alfaro is catching. He is batting eighth. And Sergio Alcantara, no Ha-Seong Kim. Alcantara is in there batting ninth at shortstop. Kind of interesting to me that Noel Kim, I don't know when his last day off was, but usually they use Alcantara. When's the last Alcantara start that he's had? I feel like it's like a day game, right? A day game, last game of the series type thing. Kim's been playing a lot. And when Kim's not at shortstop, you usually put Cronenworth there, and you put Cano at second, but you don't have Cano anymore. So that forces Alcantara to play shortstop. So not a whole lot that I take away from this lineup other than Mazara being in it, obviously, and then Crony being moved up to the 2-hole and Manny being in the 3 spot. I like that. And Hauser's a righty, so there's back-to-back lefties to start off, but I'm fine with that. I'm starting to like Profar in the leadoff spot more and more as I see those at bats. He's hitting well. And then for Milwaukee, Andrew McCutchen's in right field. Luis Urias is at shortstop. Yelich is DHing. Tyrone Taylor's in center. Rowdy Tellez at first. Keston Hiura. Did we see him? He might have been on the IL the last time the Brewers were in San Diego a couple weeks back. Colton Wong's at second. Former Padre Victor Caratini, guaranteed home run tonight. He's hitting eighth and catching. Jace Peterson, the former Padre as well, he is batting ninth. So former Padres in the 8 and the 9 hole and in the 2 hole, but 8-9 back-to-back there. So those are the lineups for today's game. Padres-Brewers kicks off at 4:40. Bally Sports San Diego, 97.3 The Fan. My what to watch for is for today. Hold on one second. Score more than 2 runs, right? That's how many they scored yesterday. Don't strike out a bunch. I know they didn't strike out as much as they did yesterday, but they nearly doubled the amount of strikeouts that the Phillies had in those 3 games. And so hit situationally, right? Not just not striking out, but putting the ball in play strategically, if that, you know, makes sense for you, you know? The Cardinals, what I realized or saw in that series, and I mentioned this on my series reaction episode, which is available on this YouTube channel and on the podcast platforms, is the Cardinals had a lot of sack flies in that Cardinals series. You know, the Padres didn't really do that, right? They scored on the Manny single in the first inning yesterday, and then they had nothing the middle 7 innings of that game. Then in the 9th, they had Voit hit the home run. Grisham walked to load the bases, and then Cano pop out. So they just need more consistent offense, obviously. You don't need me to tell you that. Stop the losing streak, obviously. They've lost 3 in a row. They're 2-6 in their last 8 games. Look, the Pirates were a savior for the Padres, right? They saved the Padres' butts these last 3 games. Because if the Pirates wouldn't have swept the Dodgers or would have lost the series or would have been swept by the Dodgers, which was a realistic scenario, the Pirates entered that series with the worst run differential in baseball. The Dodgers had the best. So it was very plausible that the Dodgers would have swept the Pirates, but it didn't happen. Good thing it didn't happen, because if it did, and with the Padres getting swept, you could be 6 games back instead of 3. So get some wins here, because you could definitely find yourself, if the Dodgers play well against the Mets here. I know the Mets are a good team, and the Padres will see that starting at the beginning of next week. But if the Dodgers play well against the Mets, the Padres can find themselves in trouble if they don't win some games here. I would be happy with the series split because of the Brewers pitching, the Padres' lack of offense, and pretty much, I mean, I'd like to see Mazara play the majority of these games, right? My Padre pick for today is Jake Cronenworth. I like the left versus right matchup. He's hitting second, so he's going to get a lot of at-bats. Yesterday, I went with Jerks Profar. He went 1 for 5, so I am 31-14 in my pregame Padre pick so far this year. Let me know in the chat. Feel free who you think will get a hit for the Padres today if you had to pick a player. All right, before we get to some comments here, I'll do some MLB notes. Yankees, I know we're in a doubleheader right now with the Angels. They won the first game 6-1. NL West action, San Francisco's in Miami. Colorado's hosting the Braves, and like I mentioned, the Dodgers hosting the Mets. That's at 7:10. So that's a 4-game series with the Mets. So the Padres, they're going to need some wins. I don't see any other notes to like discuss. I mean, we talked about the Mazara news. I think that's it. Today's Lou Gehrig Day. I guess that is worth mentioning. Obviously, you know, he passed away on this day. Was it 1941? Might have been 1941. I apologize if that's the wrong date, but I saw it somewhere today. But so I believe the Padres are going to be wearing patches with Lou Gehrig on it. So that's pretty cool. I think it's the second annual Lou Gehrig Day. And MLB.com came out with their MVP polling. In the American League, Mike Trout is the front runner right now for them. Aaron is 2. Jose Ramirez is 3. Ohtani's 4. Devers is 5. In the National League, it's Mookie Betts is number 1, not Manny Machado. Because of how great Mookie Betts has been in the month of May. He was 10th in, I think, it says he was 10th in MLB.com's last MVP poll, but he hit 342 in May. I think he had 12 home runs last month, 27 RBI, 31 runs scored. I mean, my goodness. Like, Manny didn't have that great of a month. No one else had that great of a month. You hit 12 home runs a month. Holy cow. So I guess he does deserve to be the front runner right now after that. You've only played 2 months in the year. Manny is number 2, as he should be. He got 21st place votes in this MLB.com list. He's hitting 347 at the time of this article was written. San Diego, we're at a 99 win pace in 2022. No Tatis, obviously. Goldie is number 3 in this list. MVP odds, Alonso is 4th. Harper is 5th, despite the torn UCL. Others receiving votes, Joe Musgrove received at least 1 vote, according to this MLB.com thing. So that's good that he's getting some recognition. But yeah, that's kind of the MLB notes for today. If you're just joining live here, I already talked about Mazara and Cano. I mean, I touched on it in my Gaslamp Ball article. I touched on it in my reaction video last night. It was time. 0 for 20 in his last 20 at bats. Try someone else. Mazara might not work. He's gonna probably have a better chance of working, and Cano wasn't working, and Mazara's hot. Let's see if he can do that. Let's see if he can stay hot, and with Myers dealing with this injury, you bring Mazara up. He can play every day if you want him to, and maybe Myers doesn't have to go on the IL. Maybe it's just a few day type thing, and you can use him as a pinch hitter or something, whatever. If he just doesn't want to or just can't run in the outfield. use him as a pinch hitter, and you can have Mazara start, and that could help Myers heal while Mazara still, can impact the team. About the pitching matchup, Manaya and Hauser. So that's about it. 4:40 is the first pitch. Padres Brewers. Padres need to take 2 out of 4, I think, at least. It's kind of weird saying 2 out of 4, but that's what I would be happy with. Brewers are a good team. We saw that last series. Ashby faces Gore, Alex says, so that'll be really interesting. And then Alex says about Sergio Alcantara playing at short. I mean, Ha-Seong Kim has speed. You don't just put someone in the lineup only because of their speed. You use them as a pinch runner late in the game, I think that's all the comments. Oh, okay. Alex says about Mazara. He's still only 27, has raw power, and has done it before, so he shows he has the potential. Or he's shown that has the potential. Yeah, that's part of the reason probably why the Padres are comfortable in bringing him up. With Trace Thompson, he played in the big leagues too, but he was coming up because Myers was on the IL, where Mazara is coming up with Cano being released. So Mazara is going to get some time to play here, I think, as I mentioned earlier. He's only 27, and I definitely agree with that point about the raw power. And hopefully he can get into a few, right? I'm not expecting him to hit 500-foot bombs like that Rangers home run that keeps coming around my Twitter. That was a one-time thing probably, but all I care is if it goes over the fence, right? So we'll see. He's hitting 6th in the order tonight. Nomar Mazara, Padres Major League debut tonight. Go watch it. Go listen to it. At Talking Friars for highlights during the game. And my post-game reaction will be uploaded after the game. All right. See you, everyone.